I'm a board certified pediatric and adult neurologist by training, and I was in practice in Missoula, Montana for 20 years. But along the way, I rekindled an interest in medicinal plants. After a 3-month sabbatical in the Peruvian rainforest in 1995, I came home and quickly became embroiled in the cannabis controversy. Um, and in my attempts to do clinical research with cannabis, and being thwarted by the US federal government, it really kindled my adolescent rebellion, and I wanted to do it all the more. And it's become my second career. In the course of things, I was reading everything I could about cannabis and the endocannabinoid system, and first published a paper on cannabis in 1998. This was noted by Jeffrey Guy, the founder and CEO of GW Pharmaceuticals, the British company that has developed the first cannabis-based pharmaceuticals. He asked me to come on as a scientific advisor, which is a position I had for 5 years. And gradually I was doing more and more work for them in addition to my practice. Then in 2003, I was asked to come on full-time as senior medical advisor, a position I had for 11 years, and was intimately involved in the development programs for Sativex, which was approved in Canada in 2005, and Epidiolex, which was approved by the FDA for treatment of epilepsy in 2018. Along the way, I was also a liaison to basic scientists around the world, including Canada, that were doing work with GW. I was also involved in some 25 phase 1 to 3 clinical trials of those medicines, and so certainly became familiar with the process of how you do a study and manage a study. Then we're going to fast forward to, I think it was about 2014. A landmark paper came out about a substance that had been discovered in 1985 by a friend of mine, unbeknownst to me at the time. Her name was Marilyn Barrett, and in doing her PhD, she was the discoverer of canflavin. Canflavin is a flavone or flavonoid, and apparently is, so far at least, unique to the cannabis plant, not noted otherwise. But it resembles in some fashion resveratrol, the anti-inflammatory compound in red wine, among other fruits. I met her in the rainforest of Peru in 1994. We were taking a course called Pharmacy from the Rainforest. I didn't realize that she was the discoverer of canflavin until many years later, because they just use initials rather than first names in these studies. But in 2014, there was a landmark paper about the anti-inflammatory attributes of canflavin by Wertz et al. And you've heard a good bit already about what it does. But I was fascinated by this compound and this clinical promise, especially recognizing that these were substances with no psychoactivity, no addiction risk, and probably no side effects. These are things that have been ingested by humans for thousands of years and without associated problems. So this is quite distinct from the issues that we have with the cannabinoids, specifically THC. And these potentially would be products that can be sold around the world. In 2020, my partner and I began a business called Credo Science. And in the course of doing this, we discovered what Akeem and Canurta and associates were doing and decided that it would be best to team up